salutations. In this video, I want to discuss the importance of maintaining high levels of awareness when you are traveling overseas. And something I want to put into your mindset to start off with is when you're traveling overseas, it doesn't matter. For example, me, I'm an African man, I'm of African descent. It doesn't matter if I'm going to an African country. My energy is different, and I will talk about this in a future video very likely, you're going to have foreign energy. People are going to look at you and they're going to be like, this person looks like he's from somewhere else. That's just the way it is. And because I've been raised in a Western climate, I've been raised in the States, I've been raised in the UK, unfortunately, even if I have African descent, I have full 100% African blood flowing through my DNA. When I pull up, my energy is just different. My skin is different. Like people are going to know. So you have to take that into account. Don't think you're blending in anywhere. Even some people can attest to this. Even if you're from the West Coast and you go to the East Coast, there's just a difference in your swagger, your walking style. There's just going to be a difference. There's going to be an element. People are typically going to sense that from you. And if you stay in a place for a period of time, you're always going to amass at least some level of foreign energy. So, me, for example, I was born and I was raised in London town, UK. But since I've been away from the UK for years now, even if I go back today, I'm still going to be exuding foreign energy. And I'm probably going to pull up in the summertime and I can use that energy to see what I can attract to me. I typically don't attract anything negative to me because I do not radiate at that frequency. And yeah, I'm just looking at my notes. This is my first video I'm going to post. I have some previous content on this video. You can disregard that if you will, because I always think, should I bother deleting my old videos because I might not necessarily agree with some things I said in the past, and the rate that I'm growing at and the rate that I'm learning and developing at is exponential. So even if I said something last week, I might not necessarily identify with that today. The best version of yourself should always be today, and you should be striving. But yeah, I just really wanted to hammer on the awareness. So I'm going to be going through my book content because I do have a book. So I've written, it doesn't matter where you go, there are dangerous places in every country and every city. You need to have a good level of awareness when you are moving around. For this reason, I recommend not using drugs and alcohol when you are overseas in public places. Again, this is just a recommendation, but typically I don't recommend using drugs and alcohol because it's going to alter your senses, it's going to lower your inhibitions. Um, I've used certain drugs and I start seeing things. And don't get me wrong, I've done it all. I've done it all. I've seen it all. And I don't recommend alcohol for similar reasons. You might do things if you would do it under the influence of drugs and alcohol, and you wouldn't do it in a sober state. You shouldn't be doing it. So if you choose to indulge in these, do so in the comfort of your own home and make sure you have food available so you don't have to go out. I don't recommend that, especially if you use a weed and all these other hardcore drugs. It's not a good idea to be interacting with people that you might see again, that you might not see again. You can easily be taken advantage of. The moment you go outside whilst inebriated in a foreign country, you are a walking target. Anything can happen. Excuse me. This is pretty much self-explanatory. Anything can happen. And something I wrote actually, I'm gonna just remove it here. Don't stop for people who call you on the road. So this happens to me in so many countries, especially because I did a lot of walking. I do recommend, like, if you can, have a motorbike or have a means of transport, a car to get around. Um, but some places I was in the world, I had to walk just because maybe the duration of time that I was there, that kind of thing. But occasionally you get some people trying to call you, like, come. Um, I've never stopped. If your mom didn't tell you or your dad didn't tell you, don't stop for strangers. So people try to, there was times traveling in Muslim countries, women in full burqas. This happened 3 times to me when I was in East Africa. 3 times, and women will call me like this, wearing full burqas, like I can't even see your face. So obviously it's just not wise to do that, and it's happened to me. I kid you not. Just I'll probably say about 2 days ago now. I was walking down the street, and again, like I can't hide, even though I'm in my homeland. Like I can't, like I was walking down the street, a man tried to like grab me, and as I was walking back, and this is another thing, a travel tactic. I typically don't recommend going the same way you go and the same way back, depending on where you go, because you never know who's watching and who might try plotting. When he comes back, we'll get him. So typically, and I pretty much apply this to everywhere, if you go this way to a place, come back in a different way. Like don't be too predictable. See, I didn't even plan to talk about this, but I'm just flowing with this. And yeah, I walked back the same way because it was a public place, and like I said, this is home. I'm familiar here. Then he told me in the in the cultural language, he was like, "Come," and I'm just thinking. I looked at him. I just side eyed him like, "I'm not 15. I'm not 10. Like, what do you mean? Try and call another grown man? Who knows what he wanted? Doesn't matter what he wanted. I have no business with him." Um, and I didn't drop anything, like that didn't happen, because that has happened a few times. Like because I'm so used to people calling me, and there's been a few times maybe where I have dropped something. There was a time where I did drop something. I remember in Jamaica, and I was like thinking he's asking me for money again, just annoyed, and he was like, "Look, you dropped your hat," and I was like, "Ah," like that awkward moment, and I was like kind of apologizing. So, um, yeah, it was a hat that dropped, and so that does happen. Um, and another thing to with awareness, again, I might have different parts of these videos because I'm just following format in my ebook here. Um, don't remain idle. That's another thing. Like, and what I mean, don't stand around. So many bad things have happened to me, um, just because I was standing around, lounging around with no purpose. So I typically overseas, I typically do everything with a purpose. I don't just walk for walking's sake. I do my best not to do that. That was like a Rasta urge, like just to roam and wander. Like if like I have to have a purpose. Like I'm not just gonna go to the supermarket to check it out. That is typically a feminine trait. Like I'm gonna go to the supermarket with a list. I have a purpose. I have solid intention, and I'm not gonna deviate from that list. That's how strict I'm gonna be with it. Um, there's been a couple of times I remember I'm just standing there trying to just chill and enjoy. Like you can do that when you're in your homeland or when you're in a place when you're on the beach. Like then people will start asking me for money or someone will try and stop me or this might happen or that might happen. And you just look idle. So you're inviting different energies to come to you. And the energies might not always be positive. So don't remain idle. I typically won't like I might be in an establishment chilling out, but I'm not gonna just be on the road. Let me add something to that. Don't remain idle on the street. Like typically, I never and another thing with awareness, stop using your damn phones. Where's my phone at? Stop using your damn phones walking on the streets. People are so used to that, using their phones, listening to music. Like, if you're going to use the AirPods or whatever, just have one in. Like, you need to remain aware. Stop using your phone and walking around the streets. I opened my phone and work messages came, kind of diverted my focus. See, that's what I mean. Like, it takes away from your concentration. So don't use your phone. Like typically, if I'm going to use a phone, I urgently need to use it. Like if I'm using a maps or something like that, I'll go to a place where nothing can come from behind me. Have my back towards the wall, and then you're kind of idle. So you need to remain aware and just don't do it for too long. You never want to look like you don't know what you're doing because people already know you're a foreigner. At least look like you know where you're going. Be confident as you're walking around the street. Um, but yeah, those are the things that I've got for this video. I'm going to cover that. Next, I can see personal profile is there to talk about.